Our Region's Business is sponsored by PNC for the achiever in you. Welcome to Our Region's Business with your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, global recognition for Phipps Conservatory and its living building, plus national recognition for local efforts to prepare the STEM workforce of the future. But first, the world's greenest Skyrise is nearing completion in downtown Pittsburgh. The tower at PNC Plaza is full of cutting-edge green building technologies, many of which have never been installed at this scale in this country. So how did PNC make sure they would work when they're installed, say, 30 stories high? Well, the company created a mock-up in Greentree to make sure. Gary Salson is back with us to explain. He's Director of Corporate Real Estate with the PNC Financial Services Group. Welcome. Good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I see the skyline's already changing. You're getting close in finishing the new building.
We're very excited about it. We think it's going to make an impact not only on the community, but on PNC and our employees.
Yeah, well, it's a striking addition to the skyline, but I think people may look at the facade and not appreciate all the things that are going on underneath. A couple of examples of the technologies that you think are really pushing the edge of the envelope when it comes to a building of this scale?
We've done a double skin, which is the only true double skin construction in the United States, where we have an exterior skin of the building and then a no man's land and then an interior skin, and we think we're going to be able to naturally ventilate the building or bring in outside air minimum of 42% of the time.
So what, when the outside air is kind of pleasant, then you can bring it into the building and you can actually run the ventilation that way?
Right. We've actually studied through thermodynamic modeling things like humidity, temperature, pollen, and so on. So we know exactly when we can naturally ventilate the building. We think we're actually going to exceed the 42% because we think on summer mornings when most buildings have their air conditioning on from 2 a.m. to, let's say, 6 a.m., we'll be in natural ventilation mode. So employees will actually arrive at work with fresh air.
That is crazy. Yeah, you don't think about that in a modern office building. They all seem to be hermetically sealed all the time. I wonder, and this really gets into what the mock-up was all about, because this idea of a double skin has really never been done on this scale in the United States before, right?
Right. What we do at PNC is we like to take risks, we like to do new things, but we test everything. And in this case, we built a large mock-up in Greentree and have used it for testing literally everything.
So it looks like from the inside of it, it's like an office. You can see they've got the conference tables and chairs and everything in there, just as if it's a workspace, right?
We built an office, we built workstations, we built a conference room, and we also monitored 24 hours a day for temperature. And I can tell you, in the middle of winter, we could go into the no man's land between the two skins, and the temperature was somewhere in the 40s and 50s.
So very consistent.
When it was, sub 20 outside.
So like a double skin insulated bottle or whatever, you get some of the same benefits.
Yes.
Even in extreme temperatures, it kind of holds the middle.
Right.
And what else are they doing in the mock-up beyond, I noticed they were playing with the blinds there. Is that a big part of the energy strategy as well?
Well, we installed a number of different blinds, then picked the ones that we liked that would work. And the ones we really like are all perforated, so that our employees will be able to see outside even when the blinds are down. Now, it's so sunny in Pittsburgh, believe it or not, that we can actually operate the building with no lights on.
Really? All year round? It would be acceptable?
All year round. And depending on how light it is outside, the interior lights are programmed to either get dimmer or get brighter.
And that's all happens automatically to the people inside the building. They wouldn't get the feeling. Do you find testing these technologies, were you able to avoid costs that you might have incurred if you'd installed some of these things without testing it?
We avoided somewhere around $5 million.
$5 million?
And in many cases, you're looking at salespeople for these various companies, and then we go and where the rubber meets the road, we test the product. And if it doesn't make sense, we don't use it.
I'd love that as a salesperson. So yeah, I'd let me test it first, and then they have to prove it works. That's priceless. One feature of the building that it will be, I guess, invisible from the outside, but we should mention is this idea of a solar chimney. How does that fit into what you're doing there with the double skin?
So the way a solar chimney works is it's like taking the top of a shoebox about 2 inches. Air comes in the building, and when it gets warm, it goes to the solar chimney and escapes out of the top of the building. And we're able to ventilate the building, where a typical building of its size would have thousands of what are called VAV boxes, which is variable air, which are electric fans that move the air around.
Literally the hum you hear inside of a building.
So what happens in this case is it's kind of like standing next to an elevator that it's not running, where you hear air rising. Warm air will go to these vents, go up the solar chimney, and escape out the building. Then in the winter, we'll reverse the process, and we'll be bringing warm air into the building through the solar chimney. The top of the solar chimney is painted black, and in the middle of winter, we think it will get up to 90 degrees.
Up at the top of the building.
Yes.
And that gives you a heat reserve then to pull into the building. So overall, when you think about how this building is going to operate, how does it flow to the bottom line when you think about the overall operational cost of a building like
Well, it's going to be 50% more energy efficient than a typical office building.
50%?
Yeah. We're going to be able to naturally ventilate the building at least 42% of the time, as I mentioned earlier. And we're going to save about 72% in water.
That's amazing. And I guess the last question for everybody who's watched the construction the last couple of years, when do you cut the ribbon? What's the target to open it up?
The good news is that we're on budget and on schedule, and it should open in September with the first moves. The grand opening will be in October.
Okay, well, it's exciting, and not just exciting for our region, but really on the cutting edge of this kind of stuff all around the world. The tower at PNC Plaza is the building. Gary Solson is the Director of Corporate Real Estate with PNC. Good to see you again. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And next up, from greener to greener, global recognition for Phipps Conservatory. Stay with us.